Greetings, music lovers, and welcome to the world headquarters of the New Folk Initiative and the virtual On Your Radar. And I don't think I need this anymore, but I hope that you're enjoying this in a socially distant way. Uh, the last On Your Radar was on March 10th at Rockwood Music Hall. It wasn't long after that everything fell apart in New York and around the world. And Rockwood has been closed and probably will be closed through at least the summer. So thanks to Gordon Nash and Rob Hinkle and the miracle of modern technology, we're able to restart On Your Radar tonight. And I'm really happy to do that, not just here in New York City, but around the world. If you're in California or Maine or Chicago or wherever, I welcome you to On Your Radar. And we're going to do the sort of thing that I normally would do at Rockwood, which is have a bill of three artists who'll each do 30-minute sets along with a little Q&A with me in between. And these artists come from the far-flung corners of the U.S. in Massachusetts, Los Angeles, and Florida. So that's the kind of thing that we couldn't do if we were there on the lower side of Manhattan. And of course, you'll see the little crawl underneath there that there's a tip jar where you can show your appreciation for all their performances. The three artists will divide equally along with the producer for all the proceeds that go from that. And I encourage you to be generous with that because that's what it's all about. So we want to start with a woman who's based in Massachusetts, and that would be Corey Laitman. Hello, Corey.
Hey, how's it going, John?
Fine. So now I know that you are somebody who says that you're gender neutral. So you have a particular way you want me to address you, or is it all good?
Corey, just call me Corey. That's
Okay.
Great. For now, that's the 101.
Okay. So now I think you may have grown up in the New York area. Is that true?
I did. Yeah, I grew up in Westchester County.
Yeah. It's kind of bucolic around there, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Certainly is. Certainly is. A lot of horse farms. I grew up on what used to be a pine tree farm.
Okay.
So the land that I lived on was
Does that mean it was Christmas trees or?
I think at one point it was a Christmas tree farm. But
Okay.
when I was living on it, it was not a Christmas tree farm. It just had a lot of pine trees.
So did your family influence your musical tastes growing up?
They did. Yeah. My dad listened to a lot of the Beatles, a lot of the Moody Blues and REM, and what else did he really like? He liked like stranger, more fringy 60s bands too. Like, do you know Renaissance?
Oh, the classic rock band.
He loved Renaissance. And he also listened to a lot of classical music. I was influenced.
I guess so. So now where are you living now?
I'm living in a town called Turner's Falls, Massachusetts.
And is that near Northampton?
It's about a half an hour outside Northampton. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a scene around Northampton. I think of the Neils and Tracy Grammer and Cliff Eberhardt and people like that. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're part of the scene there, or is that part of what you are involved in?
The scene around here is not really coherent. I think a lot of it used to be when there were more venues that were like really hospitable to folk musicians. But I think that most of the bigger acts that live around here tend to outsource and go to Boston or New York. But it's still cool that they're here. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Boston, I think you've sort of been involved with some good stuff there. I think you were part of a WBUR Tiny Desk concert, right?
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also an iguana grant from Passim. You have to explain that to me.
You really want me to explain it to you?
Well, unless it's too difficult. It's
no, it's
really
not.
Intriguing.
It's not really difficult. I was wondering if you were, bookmarking it for later. But so Passim has a grant fund that they allocate to different musicians every year to help with various projects, and you have to apply for it. And I applied for it at the very last minute. I was it was a very last minute thing. But I was really grateful. They gave me $2,000, and I was able to produce the Seafoam, my last
Ah,
album,
and
with the money
speaking of
that they
which,
gave me.
yeah, the producers on that were Sean Kimball and Ian Nyack.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ian quite well from
Anand,
from
yeah.
his work with Ronnie Arbo,
Mm-hmm.
and I know he actually performed with you at NERFA. Did Sean perform with you at NERFA too?
No, I don't. I don't work with Sean anymore, but he's a
Okay,
great bassist. Mm-hmm.
but you do have a trio that in better times you're able to bring into performance, aren't you?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
true. Yeah.
what are we gonna hear tonight?
We're gonna hear a couple of tracks from
Okay.
Seafoam. We're
Okay.
gonna hear Weather Vane, Carnival, Marching Band, a new one. I've been doing this song exchange with a brilliant kid that I mentor named Louis Phipps, and I'm gonna play a song that I wrote for one of those exchanges, and I'm gonna do another one called Tucson from Seafoam, and then a newer one called Leavened.
All right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we look forward to that.
Yeah.
This is Corey Laitman on your radar virtually from Turners Falls, Massachusetts, and to you around the world.
Hi, everyone. I guess it's just me now. So like I said, I'm going to start out with a song called Weather Vane. My friend Chris at WEXT in Troy just started spinning this. He'd been spinning my other song, Marching Band. Spinning. That's a new word for me, a new term, industry term. But yeah, this is happening on the radio now in New York, which is really exciting. It's called Weather Vane. Clouds are rising from the backyard in the morning. Air is heavy like its shoulders ache with rain. Holding heat under dark and dewy covers, I have tried to map my lover's veins. And through these rooms, there they move, a cast of shadows, ghosts of love and the absence of a friend. These poor floorboards were waterlogged with sorrow, nothing they could do but bend. We tore out our hearts and rolled them down the lane. Oh, we were two wolves baying at the moon, and now we're ringing bells made of weathered ocean shells, and the days are always growing dark too soon. Well, we'd set to walking with our eyes on a horizon, but I'd been flying, tethered to a child's paper plane, and you'd sunk roots down
into a darker soil while I'd spun out a weather vane. Was because I felt so weightless that I ached for gravity. You turned down my metaphors and said you ached for only me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, oh. We tore out our hearts and rolled them down a lane. Oh, we were two wolves baying at the moon. Oh, and now we're ringing bells made of heaven, born of hell. And the days are always growing dark too soon. No, the days are always growing dark too soon.
I'm remembering right now that I have no one to listen to, but I still had my headphones on, so I figured it wouldn't be right to take them off in the middle of the song, but it's nice to have them off. I can look at you a little bit better. This is a song called Carnival, also off of Seafoam.
Oh, my starling, I've been watching you on your wire. Seen your hollow wings
Thank you. It's funny to not have anything to react to in between songs. It's funny, it's kind of an act of faith. You know, I just believe that you're out there. It's so interesting. This is a song called Marching Band. I wrote it for my little sister.
Like a drum in a marching band. Oh, 19, you were watching, you were wide-eyed there in those blues you'd only felt from the outside. Well, they might be blind, but we have seen your embers soft and stark, and your heart like a drum in a marching band. You hold all your heartache leaden pellets in a bag. Dear, don't all that holding get to be a lonesome drag. So, little one, if he leaves your garden this second time where you grew your heart, and if all your aching starts to form a mountain, block your sun, will you come to me, dear, with your best laid plans, oh, with your stones ground down to a fine white sand, with your restless feet and your empty hands, and your heart like a drum in a marching band.
Hey, so I just learned that I'm still on the private chat and not in the live comments section. And look at all you folks just being in there. Hey, not such an act of faith after all. Hey, everybody. Oh, so fun. Okay, well, I'll scroll those later and keep playing for now. I hope that someone will tell me when I'm almost done. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there. Private chat. Yay, thank you. Okay. So this is a song that I wrote. The next song I'm going to play is a song that I wrote in a trade with my 8-year-old buddy. And the way that the trade works is that he comes up with a list of prompts, and I pick a prompt, and then we both take the week to write a song to that prompt and share it with each other at the end of the week. And this is the one that I wrote to fire as a prompt.
There was a flame lit up your chest as we watched the sun set in the night. I felt it stir a restless sigh, then sail through the window out of sight. And sometimes you gotta light a match when the darkness starts to thicken. takes a whole damn fire just to find a kinder way. You say the fires are straight with you. They burn up all the chatter in your mind and turn the hours into birds who sing out from the hazy edge of time. And I get it, you gotta strike the rock when your heart starts feeling colder. Often it takes a whole damn fire just to feel a little bolder. Even when you're tired, you get up every time. Oh. You do the dishes, mop the floor to put a little aloe on the burn. My dear, it's wild to watch you take a brush, fire, and make of it a lantern. Oh, and sometimes the devil in your head is a sadness moving through you. And often the only thing to say to that pain is hallelujah.
Thank you. I feel like I need to give credit. I was workshopping this song with my partner, Micah, and he totally wrote that last line, and it's the best line of the song. I just feel like a fraud taking credit for it.
Well, have we lost Corey? Corey, you can do a song or two more.
Hey, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, I thought you were getting nervous or whatever, but I think you got room for two more songs. You up to it?
What?
I think we can. Yeah. First of all, on behalf of all the people out there listening, yay!
Hey, thank you.
I'm the surrogate audience, and and can you give us a couple more songs?
Absolutely, yeah. A couple, as in two.
Two would be good.
Great, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm switching out now just to make the transition a larger transition. I'm switching over from my guitar to my tiny ukulele. Oh yeah, wires. What a thing to get used to. Okay. This is my tiny uke. Turn it back up. Okie dokie. Okay. This is a song called Leavened. Yeah. No further introduction.
ground song of the flowers, light live in the day. Bird song shook my dusty ribbons and sent me on my way. And wives walked on a windstorm, and wives steadied the breeze, and rain carried my worry all to bury in the leaves. Oh, oh, and time's pulled out a distance. This distance I know. I've been swum across the waters, lanterns full of snow. And sometimes I'm a cowboy, and sometimes I'm a girl, but mostly I'm a wave at sea whose water drank the world. Oh, oh, honey, you are reminding me. Oh, honey, you are reminding me. Oh, honey, you are reminding me. Honey, you oh,
Thank you. And I'm going to do one more. Try not to click myself out this time. Here we go. Thank you everyone so much for showing up to this new venue for On Your Radar. Thanks John for setting it up, and thank you Rob for figuring all of it out. You genius. Okay. This is a song called Heavy On.
look at me, look at me. Why are you looking away? And where do you go when you go? Could you put me in a red wagon, tug me along, and look at me, look at me. Why are you looking away? And is it raining like glitter there, somewhere away from the muck of the moment and my thick tongue? And do I drag you down, my lover? Oh, oh, oh. Do I pull you under the sea? Hey, do I drag you down, my love? Oh, heavy my chest, heavy on, heavy on, heavy on me. whatever your breeze blows in. Evergreen strung between wanderings, rusted in red and all other fists in my little chest, tilting at windmills and dragons to try and get me to rest. Do I drag you down, my lover? Oh, do I pull you under the sea? Hey, do I drag you down, my lover? Oh, heavy my chest, heavy on, heavy on, heavy on me. Did you tell me, hummingbird, how you could never get off of the ground? Had an idea, but your meddlesome mind blew a great static into the sound. Do I drag you down, my lover? Oh, do I pull you under the sea? Hey, do I drag you down, my lover? Oh, heavy my chest, heavy on, heavy on, heavy on me. Yeah. Oh, heavy my chest, heavy on, heavy on, heavy on me. Yeah. Oh, heavy my chest, heavy on, heavy on, heavy on me.
Hey,
Thank you. Ooh,
Corey
I put my
Laitman.
headphones back on.
Well, well, Corey,
Hey.
on behalf of all the audience out there, here's some virtual applause for you. You're brave.
Thank you.
You are our guinea pig for the virtual On Your Radar, and it was a great job.
Thank you.
This is the album. Seafoam.
Seafoam, yep.
I'm not. There we go. Can you see it? And
Yeah.
yeah, okay. And if you want to show your appreciation for Corey or Pi or Grant, of course, check out the tip jar at PayPal. Let's see, On Your Radar 2020, John Platt's On Your Radar 2020, and it'll show that'll keep the music going. So thanks again, Corey. And,
Thank you so much for having me, John.
Okay. And also want to remind people that you should hit the share button. That's a way to get more people into the action. And I can take a minute to let you do that. We're also, both on Facebook Live and YouTube. It's the first time we've done any video like this for On Your Radar. And it's kind of a brave new world. So I hope you're getting it. I know that we feel good here, thanks to Rob Hinkle, who's the master of the control room. And I want to now bring into the mix a woman named Pi Jacobs. She's in LA. There she is. Hi, Pi.
Hi. Ooh, am I muted? Hello.
Are you there?
I am here.
Okay. So I noticed that your writing credits say Lisa Marie Jacobs.
Oh, yeah.
So who's that and how did you become Pi?
That's me. That's my given name. I never really liked that name growing up, but Pi is my nickname, and it's a long, dumb story. But to simplify, I'm half Filipino. I'm a Pisces. I was born on 3/12, but I wish it was 3/14. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. I was wondering if it had anything to do with math or tigers and boats. If you remember that novel. But Anyway,
I like both.
okay. So now, where did you grow up? I think it's in the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I was born in the Haight-Ashbury,
Oh,
and
really?
oh yeah, I was born there. And then we moved to Sonoma County, which is wine country, about an hour and a half north.
Yeah. It's a
So yeah.
lovely, lovely place. Oh, so did you have a hippie childhood or what?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And did your music career begin there, or how did it go?
I think I must have been influenced by, I mean, there was just always a lot of music around, a lot of creativity. My mom does theater. We did dance. We always had a lot of just creativity and chaos. So, I mean, it just, when I was 3 years old, I went to a little hippie preschool and we had a choir and I was singing in it. So I can't really remember a time when I wasn't doing something like this.
Now, you were in New York at some point, right?
Hmm.
When were you there, and what was the experience like for you?
I moved to New York right after I got signed the first time. So I moved in 2002, which is a weird time to move to
Oh,
New York
wow.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really loved it because, you know, it was the first time I really left home, you know what I mean? And I started out as a bass player and I was a pretty in demand side person,
Hmm.
which was great, but no one really thought of me as a singer-songwriter. So when I moved to New York, I didn't tell anyone I played bass. I hit every open mic, sidewalk, and you know, all that. And I just started over. I was like, I'm a singer-songwriter, that's what I'm doing. So
And where'd you hang out? Like the living room or a sidewalk cafe or some of those places?
yeah, sidewalk, living room, later on pianos,
Right.
Arlene's. I had a semi-regular gig with a friend at Ruby Fruit. Is that the name of it in the West Village?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So why did you move to LA, which is where you are now?
Oh, I followed a man.
Oh, that's
No,
often the case.
no. I'm talking about my husband. Yeah, no,
Oh,
he got an amazing job offer, and you know, all good Northern Californians are raised to hate Southern California. I'm not sure
you bet.
why. It's something to do with water. I don't really know. But so I was like, oh, I'm not going to LA. I hate LA. Da 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 da. But I went, and like a month into it, I'm like, what was I thinking? I love it here. It's great weather. It's cheap to live or cheaper, you know. It's got a ton of great, throw a rock, hit a great musician, you know. And so I really love it here now.
And I think you've had some uh, real success in the music business, a lot of placements. So, is that true?
Yeah, it's really slowed down the last several years, but there was a while that I was just placing a lot of songs, and that was really helpful to me as far as just, you know, making money and, you know, getting my name out there and getting established as an artist and a songwriter. So, yeah.
So your newest album, is it your seventh, I think, or maybe eighth?
The newest is my eighth. Yeah.
Okay. But two truths and a lie.
Yes.
So keeping track of that. And what's the concept behind that?
Well, so I started to write it in 2017. And the Me Too movement was going strong, like just blowing up. And I had a lot of feelings about it, like any female or anybody really. And what I wanted to do was be positive, you know? So what I decided was I'm going to write songs about women that are something besides, you're so beautiful, you know, you ruined my life, I hate you, I'm obsessed with you, you know, the typical topics. So I started writing about these different women characters, and of course some of them are about me, but not, actually most of them aren't. But the two truths and a lie part is which ones are about me and which ones aren't. So you have to guess.
Okay. I noticed that a prime player on the album is Butch Norton, who's been one of Lucinda Williams, the musician's drummer.
Mhm.
And I wondered if you feel maybe there's a little Lucinda influence in your music.
Well, I love Lucinda, and I've been following her for many years. So I'm sure anything that I love, I end up being influenced by. I mean, I just hope someday to write with the kind of poetry she writes with. But
Mm.
she's great, and it's always fun. I met Butch through some mutual friends, and I'm always a little in awe of him. And so when he said he wanted to play with me, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he's been great and a huge supporter. Really, really made it the album just go from here to here.
Wow.
So
Now, you have given us a pre-recorded performance. Is he part of that?
he's not part of that. Since we were going to be on this day at Rockwood starting an East Coast tour.
Right.
But a lot of times I'll tour in a kind of a stripped down thing just for financial reasons. And our tour package for the show tonight was supposed to be me and the Hall brothers, who are twins that I work with a lot. They're on this record. They tour with me a lot. And when I play with them, they play dobro and upright bass, respectively. And then I play guitar and sing, but I also play this stomp box that I've developed. And it's basically just like a kick and snare. So we do that as a trio with all three of us singing, and it's a pretty full sound for like a little group. So that's what we have.
I'm really glad that you got them together with you remotely, and we'll be able to hear what you do with the Hall brothers. This is Pi Jacobs on your radar.
Trying to make it not be real. Every morning when I'm hurting, I take 2 Tylenol and deal. Oh, every time I see a headline, I don't think it can get worse. I used to be okay, and now I think we're all cursed. Yeah, first thing tomorrow morning, I'm gonna finally make a plan. Ooh yeah, put that bottle down, Lord, wake up and take a stand. Ooh yeah, I grab another bottle, can't turn my TV off at night. Oh, Lord, I never thought the Nazis would come out in plain sight. No, taking babies from their families, they say to make us more secure. But when them kids are grown up, they'll be out for blood for sure. Yeah, first thing tomorrow morning, I'm gonna finally make a plan. Ooh yeah, put that bottle down, Lord, wake up and take my stand. Ooh yeah, I'm at the bottom of the bottle, stagger from my couch to bed. Oh, as messed up as I am, I can't kill these voices in my head. Oh, saying, girl, you better show up, even if it don't mean boo. So if the evil wins, you'll know you did all you could do. Yeah, first thing tomorrow morning, I'm gonna finally make a plan. Ooh yeah, put that bottle down, Lord, wake up and take my stand. First thing tomorrow morning, I'm gonna finally make a plan. Ooh yeah, put that bottle She packed a bag while he was working, emptied out the bank account, told no one where she was going, headed west out of town. It's taken all of her nerve, but it won't catch her. She's got nothing to lose in the review. Woo-hoo. It ain't so bad starting over. Soon these bruises will fade. She's gonna be a different woman. Dyed her hair, changed her name. It's taken all of her nerve, but it won't catch her. She's got nothing to lose in the review. Woo-hoo. Oh, in the review. All them ghosts, yeah, it's in the review. All them ghosts, oh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, ooh, oh, in the review. Go on, ooh, it's taken all enough, but it won't catch her. She's got nothing to lose in the review. Woo-hoo. 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 Yeah, yeah. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I tried hard to be a party girl, oh, all them days trying to fit in. I ain't Asian nor Caucasian, no, I look it. I'm just the future before it begins. Now mama said I got that from my daddy. Never met the man, but I ain't heard nothing good. I'm too young to be pronounced a bad seed. Oh, I'm the future, just pre-understood. And I tried hard to be a party girl, oh, all them nights desperate to fit in. I ain't fat or thin, your business. I'm just the future before it begins. And in 20 years a study will come, telling us what we already know. All them screens and devices that connect us leave us more alone than history's shown. I tried hard to be a party girl, oh, all them nights desperate to fit in. Well, I ain't gay or straight, you're gonna think it. I'm just the future before it begins. Oh, I'm the future. I'm the future.
I'm just the future before it begins. Oh, I'm the future before it begins. Oh, I'm the future before it begins. One, two. I got my ever loving waitresses blues. God damn it, my feet hurt, and that table won't leave. Heard they were billionaires. All this food and I can't eat. And when I clock out at night, my manager tried to cop a feel. I got my ever loving waitresses blues. Damn it, I need this job. Nowhere else can I make the screen. Gives me the time. Oh, I ain't giving up on my dreams. Take care of my kids. Oh, sometimes this world just seems so mean. I got my ever loving waitresses blues. Oh, mister, you're out of line. Quit flirting in front of your wife. Oh, who swears she's better than me? Well, lady, we all prostitute ourselves and nobody's free. Oh, damn it, I make my own. And it's more than a lot of men. I know how to suck it up. Well, it ain't civilized, but we pretend this here is a real job. Well, I know there ain't such a thing, but I got the ever loving waitresses blues. No matter what you do, whether you're the boss or selling shoes, you got them blues. You know it's true. So that waitress you was gonna stiff. Oh, buddy, someday that could be you. So go 20% or higher. Oh, don't contribute to those ever-loving waitresses blues. 1, 2. Oh, 1, 2. Who, how, who, how? A house full of kids and everyone needs something. Who, how? We all know who really keep it running. Who, how? When those knees get skinned, it's her job. When her heart breaks, she's a rock. Now it's a 4-man boat going down. She's the
for the soul before she turns to. Oh, give mama relief. Oh, a little mercy. Food and drink for the soul before she turns to bones. Ooh, how, ooh, how, ooh, how, ooh, how. One, two. 1, 2. Ready, here we go. What kind of beast eats its own? Ignores the pleas of the weak and alone. They disappear on a bus from there to here. You need a job, live with the fear. The streets of Warren's, the dark of night. A girl is missing by morning light. And when the system fails, everybody knows Diana Hunter grabs a bow. You will know justice. You will harvest fear. Mr. Bus Driver, your hand is near. Oh, Diana, the hunter is here. What kind of land betrays the young? Calls them liars, whores, scum. Well, at a dark bus stop, hidden down behind a rock, Diana Hunter hits her mark. The rumors fly, just what went on when bow and arrow rights the wrong. A vigilante brings a killer down, signs and notes left on the ground. You will know justice. You will harvest fear. Mr. Bus Driver, your end is near. Oh, feel the fear. Mr. Bus Driver. Oh, 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 Diana, is here. Mr. Bus Driver, feel the fear. Oh, 1, 2. Oh, 1, 2. Oh, Mary, get back in the line, as if you got nothing but time. You got your kids counting on you. You're waiting on stamps for food. Girl, it's no sin. 3 jobs and a couple of babies. Oh, Mary, you ain't never been lazy. But you can't make water from wine. You're paying that rent on time. Girl, it's no sin. Oh, go on, shine up them go-go's. Take a big solo. Oh, dancing in the dollar stores. No, no sin to be poor.
hit the floor. No, no, it's no sin. Shine up them go-go's. Take a big solo. Oh, dancing in the dollar stores. No. Now Mary don't go taking no guff from some kid living up on a trust. Some lady in designer wardrobe. You're looking good in them second-hand clothes. Go, go! Go on, shine up them go-go's. Take a big solo. Oh, dancing in the dollar stores. No, go on, trading them bottles. Cash for that lotto. Oh, dancing in the dollar stores. No, no sin to be poor. No sin to be poor. No, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a good one. Days of bliss and a wonder. There's no earthly reason for my dumb luck, so I pour it all out, my broken cup. Now I'm versed in all them ways of goodbye. Divorce, whiskey, legal problems, cheaters' lies. Oh, I'm a pro at what not to do. Oh, I did it so well till I met you. I got a good one. Days of bliss and a wonder. There's no earthly reason for my dumb luck, so I pour it all out, my broken cup. Now I know all them ways to run and hide. Oh, 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 I know to leave before you say goodbye. Oh, I got skills to deal with the cheating kind. Oh, but a man like you requires a new frame of mind. And you disarm me with your kindness. And in the night, you sing me such a sweet tune. I know everything is just fine. I got a good one. Days of bliss and nights of wonder. There's no earthly reason for my dumb luck, so I pour it all out, Thank you for having us.
With Pi Jacobs, and a little bit of wonder in that last song too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the album is called Two Truths and a Lie, and it's just been out for a couple months, and it's going international on Friday. Am I right?
Yeah, the international. Well, we've put it out first in the US, and I do go to Europe a lot. And so I'm excited now that it's coming out for Europe and the rest of the world.
Well, I'm sorry that we couldn't get you to Rockwood Music Hall on the Lower East Side this month, but maybe you'll come around sometime again.
Oh, you.
Things will open up, and I hope it would be wonderful to hear you and the Hall twins and whoever you bring with you.
We're so there. I just want to respond to something because I just saw in the comment somebody saying who's playing the kick drum. I thought that was obvious. That's me. I'm playing the drums while playing. It's what you do when you have ADD, really.
Well, it was a wonderful performance, and once again, check out Pi Jacobs, and don't forget that the performances. First of all, they're all going to be archived on YouTube and Facebook Live after the fact tonight. And if you go to PayPal, paypal.me, on your Radar 2020, you see it on the screen, scroll, I guess you call it a crawl. You can tip the artists and let them know how much you enjoy them. So thanks once again to Pi Jacobs.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yep. So now we're going to turn our attention from Southern California to the south, to Florida, to Grant Peeples. And hello, Grant. So here in the New York area, it's a really nice summery day today. What's it like down in Florida?
It's nice and summery, and but it's raining like hell. We've had a bunch of rain for the last.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got some what do they call it? Depressions.
Yeah, we got a tropical depression, which is
not quite a hurricane, but definitely something to be concerned about. So I believe you were raised in Florida. Is that true?
Yes, I'm a seventh generation Floridian.
Wow.
Actually. But we're up in the panhandle of Florida.
Yeah, it's not exactly.
Most people in New York have a different conception of Florida than what this is.
Yeah, not a beach existence, right? Closer to Alabama.
Well, we don't call it the beach here. We call it the coast.
Okay. Yeah. And actually, Tallahassee isn't that far from where Tom Petty grew up around Gainesville. Am I right?
Yeah, we're a 2-hour drive from there.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, how did Dylan end up changing your life?
Well, I had grown up listening to. I grew up in a household where a lot of country music was. Roger Miller was what we've been asking people this. There was no rock and roll played in my house. It was all Roger Miller and it was mostly country artists so I was very much into that, and I loved Roger Miller. He was my favorite writer. And then I got to be about 15 years old. I had a friend was playing guitar, and he learned about the first Dylan I heard was somebody else singing. It wasn't even him, and he played those songs, and it changed everything. Of course, I wasn't a musician. I didn't pick up a guitar until I was in college, but I was writing, and I was really I was really messing around with words from an early age, and once I heard him, I started messing around with them a lot differently.
Well, he made an influence, a difference on a whole lot of people's lives. Right. Now, earlier tonight, Corey talked about Club Passim, but what can you tell us about the Possum Club, not to be confused with Passim?
Yeah, the Possum Club is a kind of a music club, a local music club. It's in a place called Sopchoppy, Florida, which is just to the southwest of Tallahassee. I think they don't even have a traffic light in Sopchoppy. They have 2 stop signs, and it's a great bunch of people moved down to that Wakulla County, moved down there in the late 60s and early 70s because land was cheap. They could go down there and run around, smoke weed, and run around naked and build houses without building permits. And so that's what they did, and they're still there, and they're still playing music. And the Possum Club is a building. It's a studio and but you can, they have parties in there, and you can go in there and kind of, they'll be playing music, and people, friends and family come in there and stand right amongst the musician while it's being played.
Does it feel like a roadhouse in some way, or?
Well, not really, because it's not open to the public.
Oh, okay.
It's down a long dirt road. I mean, it's you have to know it's there, and you have to be invited to show up. Tom T. Hall's recorded stuff there, and I've recorded stuff there, and people have, different people. Billy Dean recorded some things there, but no.
It seems to me you're kind of a late bloomer as a recording artist. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I had a few side steps. I didn't, like I said, I didn't pick up a guitar until I was in college, but I had been messing around with words, and I picked up a guitar because I had words on a piece of paper that I wanted to put to music. That was why I did it. I didn't learn, I didn't start out learning to play, Smoke on the Water and learning progressions and things like that. I picked up a guitar because it was a tool to help me get a song written, and I'm still playing the same 3 chords that I played on that first song. That hadn't really changed much.
Well, it worked for John Prine, so
Yeah.
And Woody Guthrie and how many others. Now, tell me about your relationship with Gurf Morlix.
Well, I met Gurf Morlix when I was living in Nicaragua. I moved to Nicaragua in 1995.
Wow.
I moved down there, a small island in the Caribbean. I moved down there to kind of drop out. I didn't think I was ever coming back, really. But I was down there 11 years, and when I came back, and I knew when I came back that I was going to try to do this music thing. I had never really performed before. I had never made any money doing it, and I was 50 years old. I started my career when I was 50. And when I came back, I just started kind of like picking up music. Ray Wiley Hubbard was somebody I had really liked, and I started listening to him again, and I heard about this woman named Mary Gaucher, and this guy named Slade
Yeah.
Cleaves, and this guy named all these people. I started listening to them, and then I realized there was this common thread through all of them. It was a guy named Gurf Morlix who was playing and producing, and Lucinda Williams, and so I just I found him on MySpace, and I wrote him a letter on MySpace and said, "Hey, will you listen to some of my songs?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So I sent him some songs, and this is probably in 2008, I guess. And he wrote back and he said, "Hey, they're good. He says they're not real good, but they're good." And he said, "If you write any more, send them to me. I'll listen to them." And 3 years later, we made our first record together, and now we've actually we've made 5 records together.
Wow. And the newest is called Bad Wife.
Yes.
And it's kind of a concept album. I think it gets you in touch with your feminine side.
Well, I don't think I think I've always been in touch with my feminine side. To be honest,
I'm in favor of that.
I think it was an experiment of being, when it came to taking songs that were they're all songs written by women, and they're all songs that were women who were friends of mine. These are all songs I'd heard in live settings. I didn't go out and I didn't do Fiona Apple or anybody like that, who I really liked, but these were all songs I'd heard in a live setting and had connected with them there. And and I also decided that I wanted to do that, and I was going to do it in the year 2020 and release it in the year 2020, which has just been totally forgotten because of pandemics and revolutionary change and all of that. This is the 100th anniversary of women getting the right to vote in our country, and which is an extraordinary thing. I mean, I knew my great grandmother. She was born in 1884, and I remember her telling me about the first time she voted. For I can't remember who it was now. It was the guy. It was after Wilson, but. So I wanted to do that as kind of to do 2 things. One is to give voice to some of these songs that I heard, and they weren't all hits or anything. Some of them and some of these women are just porch singers. They're not. Some of them aren't. There's Dana Kurtz and Carrie Elkin and Talisha Williams, and then there's some people.
Some of my friends, but but there's some new names to me, and it's a wonderful group of songs. Will you do something from this tonight?
Yeah, I will do one. I think I have I'm a real set list person. To be as wild and disorganized and off the cuff as I am, I'm always a set list guy. But I don't have a real. I just have some songs written down. See where we go tonight.
Well, wherever you go is fine with me.
Right. Thanks
to Grant Peeples on your radar.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to start tonight with a poem. I probably should ask you if I could do that. But One of the things that I do is I write a lot of poetry, especially these days, and I've published a few books. But I'm going to read you a poem I wrote last week, and then I'm just going to go right into a song. This is the first time nobody's ever read this poem or heard it. It is called City on a Hill. The Enlightenment emerged from the Dark Ages and revealed the individual and his naked, trembling mind. It was the age in which applications of rational thinking fed a distaste for the so-called God-appointed kings and the dictates of their brutal, implausible theologies. For millennia, the God game had been scripted for the benefit of bully power, but now it was clear. A man's destiny could be self-determined. One could cut one's own path through the unfolding narrative of creation, or one could not. A man, in a word, was free, whether he likes it or not, Sartre would add later. But freedom of the individual begged the question of his relationship to society. Moral considerations notwithstanding, autocratic authority was presently invalidated by the piston-pumping machinery of logic and rhetoric and reason. But what then? Was every man therefore his own state, his own king, the enforcer of his own law? Was he beholding to nothing or no one? This sounded like a recipe for anarchy. Unless, of course, there was some construct by which men could be both free and governed. Here's where the legions of unbridled thinkers walked in. Among them, the fluffy French philosopher Jacques Rousseau. He suggested that peace among men is maintained by a social contract, a tacit agreement between men and a state which they themselves create. With this instrument, the chaos of every individual twisting and shouting to the beat of his own drum could be held in check, mitigated, or even transformed into progress. However, in the algebra of this endeavor, all men are called to sacrifice or surrender in equal portion various but certain freedoms, so as to secure the stability of the enterprise of their government and the state. The right to raise hogs in the city, for example, might be consensually forfeited by each for the benefit of all, and by mutually enforcing such freedoms, fair and equitably before the law, the people thereby establish their collective selves as their own sovereign. What a revolutionary idea this was. What a concept for a world long dominated by the moods and whims of inbred syphilitic monarchs. But just how might such a bold idea become manifest? Enter here a new continent, whereupon a new nation was conceived. Illuminated by fires of knowledge and working theory, it was conceptualized as a city on a hill, a beacon for the advancement of humanity, a man-made nation, built in the churning wake of the Enlightenment, and built with the very ideas and principles born of its arts and sciences. The founders of this nation were clear. It was an experiment, a constitutional test. It would ultimately be a measure of the nature of man himself, a determination about whether he could live civilly in a society of his own design, once his interest ran contrary to the interest of others. Would the ideas and principles of the Enlightenment, now at play in the petri dish of human conflict, survive man's greed and insecurity, his attachment to comfort and mythology? Could he achieve this? Could he create a governing force and then abide by it? Could he sustain this? Or would he soon be relegated to submit to the demands of kings and dictators and autocrats? Would the light remain lit, or would the world go dark again? Well, I was about to go blind. I was straining my eyes, I was searching for some kind of sign of a change. But it's hard to swallow the truth. But man, I sure could use just a little bitty, a taste or two right now. There's never been a better time to raise your hands against your fathers, or burn a flag and lay some flowers upon the graves of our long forgotten martyrs. Well, I'm not saying I'm all in or nothing, no. I'm just a searching for a sign. And it's hard to save yourself, want you? You poison the well. Well, who you gonna call for help then? 'Cause once them wheels, they fall off and we start spinning for the wall, well, there ain't no soft way to land. Never dreamed I'd ever live to see the day that we'd see days like this. Did we just look up and all of a sudden find ourselves caught up in this big old fucking mess? I'm not saying I'm all in or nothing, no. I'm just a searching for a sign. Everybody is waiting on somebody else to make that first move, but it's hard to start a revolution when your face is 6 feet from your television. Well, you're all afraid to make that big decision. You keep on hoping for a sign, like maybe some virgin crack whore giving birth to a Christ child in a trailer park up on the Upper East Side, or a little black stable boy statue crying whiskey tears in the front yard of Donald Trump's mansion. Well, I'm not saying I'm all in or nothing, no. Just a searching for a sign. And I want to know how much shocking all it takes to bring our nation right to its senses. Well, I can feel a change, it's coming soon, and I'm just a searching for a sign. Any kind of sign, I'm searching now. I really need myself a sign, yeah. Any kind of sign, I'm searching, man. I really need myself a sign, yeah, any kind of sign. I'm searching for a sign. If I would like to tell Rob that I am going to take a peek at the chat window. And I know he's probably going to tell me, get your camera up so you're not cutting off the top of your bald head. So I'm doing that. I am going to look here. Rob, is there anything else you want to tell me? Like tune your guitar or try not to sing flat or anything like that. If there's anything like that, you can just put, no, he says, no, just, he said, just keep stinking it up for everybody. So yeah, I had this record. I made this record. I went and recorded this record. We released it on February 14th on Valentine's Day. This record called Bad Wife. Had ordered 2,000 CDs. I used to do that when I first started making records. I would order 2,000, but the last few years, last few records, I would just order 1,000. But I was going for it this time, so I ordered 2,000 CDs, and they got here the first week of February, and then so some people got quarantined with 4 kids and a dog and a spouse who watched different television than you like to watch. But I just got quarantined with a dog and 2,000 CDs. But this is a song that's on that record, and this is a song by a woman by the name of Michigan. And I heard this song originally around a campfire at the Kerrville Folk Festival. I'd gone out there, and if you've ever been to the Kerrville Folk Festival, it is a sweaty, nasty kind of mess. And it's just songs like 24 hours a day for 3 weeks. And you went out there, you just hear one song after other. And this was the song of all the songs that I heard around all the campfires while I was out there. This one got into me like I don't know if any song's ever really gotten into me like this. It was I have a feeling we probably have some songwriters who are watching, certainly some word people. But this is a song has no chorus, has no refrain. It is just a pure narrative. And man, if you've ever tried to write a song like that and to make it's a lot easier to write one than write one that works. But it's a song that is it's an allegory. You don't really know that till the end, which is which was to me was really cool. And it is a song that begins with a little boy riding into town in a wagon, sitting on his daddy's knee. And we don't really know why they're going into town. We kind of have this, there's some foreshadowing about why they're going in. And then they go into town and we find out really why they have come there and what they do while they're there. This is called Market Town. Well, James went down to the market town, sitting on his daddy's knee, for to sell their cotton and to buy some livestock and to trade their tobacco for coffee and tea. It was market day in the market town on the red clay riverside. And the streets, they were filled with strange sights and sounds. And little James, his eyes were open so wide. There were farmers and merchants, and dogs in the dust, and pigs and cattle, and horses and harness, and sacks of white sugar, and tins of molasses, and cotton and bales, trees sawed into planks. There was a man, his name was Green. He was in the market town. And he was dressed for business, and he was working the crowd. And James and his daddy went to see the man's wares in a little yard hidden behind curious stairs. That's where Green, the sole driver, with a whip in his hand, he set his stock to dancing and said, "Hey, don't they look happy?" But even little James could tell the difference in style between a grimace of pain and a smile. There was an old man of 60 with boot black in his hair. They were trying to make him look younger, like there was work left in there. And a woman with 2 daughters, and a girl with 1 son. And James' daddy, his eyes fixed on the little one. and all the barking and the bleeding and all that haggling and cheating, well, it turned the blood cold. But Green, he plied his whip till his both arms was tired, and James saw the life leave that young woman's eyes. And then he and his daddy, they took the property away, and the scars have not healed to this very day. So take care of what you do here in your market town, with all your oil in barrels and your money stuffed into banks. You can kick dust over the blood on the ground, but then you're still just whooping people to dance. And even your child will see that, and then you gonna see what we get. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Being a professional musician, I always like to start out with my telephone on, just in case somebody wants to send me an important text, and I want to know if they sent me an important text. Sorry about that. I've actually been on stage before and had one go off in my pocket. So, no, Rob, I couldn't have made it more subtle. I just had to go in and cop to it, you know. Well, everybody heard the phone. I wasn't going to pretend like, oh, get over there and do like, pretend like the, nah, I'm going to do that. So, yeah, that's, number of years ago, I had a friend, and she had been married to this guy, and it hadn't been going really well, and so we met for coffee at this coffee shop, and she came in and she just told me about this whole thing, and she, you know, which I saw her like it was cold weather here in Tallahassee. And I remember she was walking up. It was a coffee shop, had like glass all down one side of it, and she was walking up. She had this scarf over her head, and she was smoking a cigarette, and she looked tired and kind of wore out and all that, but still in some other way, in this really odd way, she looked absolutely gorgeous. And so she stuffed her cigarette out, and you know, and came in, and we had a conversation, and she told me about everything, and I'm doing this song because it's also an allegory. I'm kind of big into this allegory thing. I'm big into it. A lot of reason I'm big into it because it. You can hide behind it. But this song also, I'm just trying to do some stuff tonight that sounds like maybe I'm paying attention. It was the morning after the coup, and she drank coffee on the sidewalk, and you could see in her face she hadn't slept for days. She smoked one right after the other, as if to soothe the revolution, now that all the chains were broken on earth as it were in heaven. And she reflected on the struggle and the sacrifice of angels, and the blood left on the pages drafted by the hooded lawyer. That's when she felt a pang of hunger for a world she could not order. And though empowered by the moment, she had no idea what to do. It was the morning after the coup. In her whisper, how she'd be foolish to surrender. Well, she was armed but sentimental, So there were questions that remained, to which the goddess sent her answer in a voice so calm and gentle that there was little left to lose now, and really nothing more to gain. And though the barricades had lifted and the streets were cleared of rubble, the captured flag was missing and things were far from normal. The sanctuaries of tradition were occupied by new convictions. She was in a hostage situation and forced to change her point of view. It was the morning after the coup, and there's a grave in mythic sorrow. It's shooting through her like a spear. She lifts her hands and holds them to her heart. She feels it beat beneath her armor. It's like the flutter of a bird, a little engine of regret that stops and starts. She lays the tip down on the table. She walks across the street and buys a paper, but the headlines, they're still empty. It's the same old propaganda. And then somewhere off in the distance, she hears a siren go to wailing. That's when her tears, they just start falling, and there is nothing left to prove. It's the morning after the coup. It's the morning after the coup. It's the morning after the coup. It's on a record I made called Punishing the Myth. Punishing the Myth was and I've done this on a lot of my records, a lot of songs. I borrow I made a record called Prior Convictions, and there was a book called Prior Convictions by a guy by the name of Dave Hickey, an art critic, and the book had been very influential. It was essentially a set of short stories, and I really liked that play on Prior Convictions, so I did a record, and was one of the themes that I deal with a lot. I keep going back to is the whole idea of belief. And what belief is, and what belief does, and how belief, once we become a believer, how we are transformed. And so I did that record, and then I did the record called Punishing the Myth, which was a poem by the poet John Ashbery called Punishing the Myth. And so I've done that a few times. I heard this is a love song. I don't really do a lot of love songs. They say every man should have a broken heart at least once, 'cause that's how we all grow emotionally. And I've been kicked around by a lot of women in my life, but nothing can compare to how you treated me. At times it seemed as though the pain would never go away. It was many years ago, I know, but I still feel it to this day. And now I see you wanna be my friend on Facebook. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, all the memories, they're coming right back to me now. How you lied and cheated, how could I forget? Well, I moved across the world just to get away from you. And then this morning I received your friend request. At times it seemed as though the pain was never gonna quit. You nasty little hussy, oh you narcissistic. I see now that you wanna be my friend on Facebook. Oh, are you? I'm hoping this is not being broadcast live on WFUV. I did not even think about that. Fucking kidding me. I'm looking at the chat box right now, Rob. Tell me. Well, I don't care what kind of cocktail you are, or which member of the Beatles or 1950s movie star. And I don't give a shit what your stripper name is, or if your kitty had a litter, or if Farmville's in a Twitter. I don't want to see your new tattoo, and I damn sure won't be poking you ever again. Though now I see you wanna be my friend on Facebook. Or are you fucking kidding me? I have this really good friend of mine, and she has been involved in my career since I played my first show. She started out as kind of like a fan, and then I have an eye for talent, and so she was a fan, and she would like come to my shows and stuff, and then I went like, I bet you I could get her to help me with a bunch of shit. So anyhow, her name's Donna Mavity, and she is kind of like I won't let her be my manager because then she'll start telling me what to do, but she's kind of like my manager and an assistant, and she does my website, helps me with the website and all my stuff, all kind of stuff she helps me with. But last thing she told me when we got done was like, don't use any bad words tonight. And I went, okay, that's fine, don't worry about that. Got it covered. So I made a record, another record produced by a girl from Morley. So it was the one that I did before Bad Wife. It was called Settling Scores, Volume 2. I haven't done Volume 1 yet, but I wanted to get Volume 2 because I get ahead of myself creatively sometimes. And so I just went on, I didn't have number 1 ready, so I didn't have Volume 1 ready, so I went on and I did Volume 2. And this is a song that's on that record. Well, it could be, and I will say, I wrote this around January 27th of the year 2016. Well, it could be a long night, it might be a while before you see the light of day again. Tell me now, are you down? Well, are you down to do this thing? How deep is your faith? How strong's your belief? 'Cause it could be a long night. I mean, this could really knock some time off your clock. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing. Well, like a melting candle of pain, you're gonna need to burn away every little thing that no longer matters. 'Cause it could be a long night. I'm talking about your dignity. I'm talking about your safety. Well, these are illusions, as you will see, long before you ever see the light. Everything you ever cared about, everything you thought you'd never doubt, all of this will be figured out. It can be a long night. It's a leviathan of authoritarianism that we now face, my friends. There will be clouds of foreign entanglements and reams of alternative facts. Executive orders will be issued to round up the opposition. Babies will be ripped from the arms of their mothers along our nation's borders. And police will snuff out citizens with their knees on the streets. And going against this, it's going to take courage. And I'm not talking about, regular kind of everyday post some kind of bullshit on Facebook kind of courage. I'm talking about real courage, physical courage, spiritual courage. So you better get ready. Man, it could be a long night. I'm talking about your dignity. I'm talking about your safety. Well, these are illusions, as you will see, long before we ever see the light. Everything you ever cared about, all the things you thought you'd never doubt, all of this will be figured out. And it could be a long night. It could be a long night. Yes, a mighty long night. So you better hold on tight. It could be a long night. It's been a long night. Not tonight. But I do see the people saying, hey, Grant, one more song after this one. So I'm going to do one more. This has been, I got to say, I haven't done many of these. This is the first time I've, since the pandemic, I have played for a tip bucket. Right after this thing got going, I kind of got on and did some stuff. I tried to play some songs. And first of all, the production values were terrible. Just me like doing it with my phone or my computer. Production values were terrible. And the disconnect with not having an audience there to give me some encouragement was kind of tough. Having this, I've never, but anyhow, so I didn't want to do that, but I have started a thing called Clay Tablets. And it's a program I do once a month. And it's a program, and it's on the internet. We're broadcasting it on YouTube. I'm doing another one on next Tuesday, and you can go to my website, grantpeeples.com, and find out about it, about Clay Tablets. But it's not, I think I'll do 3 or 4 songs, but I do that. I do a couple songs. I do some poetry. I interview people. Last month I had Steve Poltz. This month it's not really an interview. It's a phone conversation. I pick up the telephone and I just call him on the phone and I hold it up. And this next Tuesday I'll be talking with Carrie Elkin. I do have art. I have a viewer mail. I have things like that. It's an hour-long program. And the theme, it revolves around this whole idea of clay tablets, clay tablets are from as you know, from Sumeria, where cuneiform was written on them. It's the first written language we have before even hieroglyphics in Egypt. And these are the first voices we have. And we're able to go back 6,000 years ago and read these things, and we know who those people are, and we know what they valued. We know what they believed in. We know what they were afraid of. We know what their government was like. We know what their laws were like, their punishments were like. And so I'm very interested in, like, what are we writing right now? What is going down? What are the clay tablets we're making today that 6,000 years from now, when they go back and look at 2020 and go, oh my, what are they going to say? So anyhow, that's that program. I'm giving myself a plug. I know y'all ready for me to go on and get out of here. And I think I'm probably going to speak a little bit with John again. I think tonight I was supposed to be playing in New York City. I think tonight was the night I was supposed to be there. This got canceled. And I really appreciate you having me here tonight. And to Rob, who I have no idea what I'm sounding like, though I will say in my headphones I sound pretty good. But the two performers, Corey and Pi, who played before, the production values were extraordinary. And I think that if more people were doing live performances, broadcasting performance, and they had those kind of production values, that it would be a better thing. I moved back from Nicaragua in 2006, and shortly after I moved back, the state of Florida went into a tailspin economically. As everybody knows, we had a big crash in 2008, but we were feeling it here before y'all felt it, because unlike everybody else in the country, we don't make anything here. We don't manufacture anything here. We don't do anything here except sit down and wait for people like you to come down here and spend money. And so people started easing up on that. We don't have an income tax. Everything's a sale tax. So when people quit coming down here and spending money, it gets pretty rough. So our governor at the time, who was a pretty smart guy, a lot smarter than his brother, decided what we needed was a new state song for the state of Florida, because the old state song was called the Old Folks Home, and it was kind of a racist diatribe thing, and it was gloomy, and it didn't talk about palm trees and bathing suits and stuff like that. And our governor thought we need something. We need to buff up the state song. So he held a contest, $5,000 first prize. I was just kind of getting going, as I told you earlier, because of my career. I was like 51 years old at this time. I was just starting out, and I figured I could make a name for myself if I won this damn song contest. So I entered the song contest, and I lost. And here's the song. In the middle of the winter, when you need a vacation, come where the sun and the sand is waiting. Right down here at the bottom of our nation, I'm talking about Florida. Yeah, come on down to the Sunshine State. I'll bring you money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, there's 1,000 new residents coming down every day. They're all moving in and buying up the place. They're filling in the swamps to make some more space. And man, we starting to need it. We got snake farms and alligator wrestlers, more state executions than anywhere but Texas, shuffleboard and wet t-shirt contestants. Man, you gotta see it to believe it. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, there's we're number one in lightning strikes, snake bites, alligator and shark attacks. We got 1 million illegal aliens to sack our trash, clean toilets, wash dishes, and cut the grass. I'm telling you, it's heaven. We feature one golf course for every man, woman, and child. We cut down the trees and get to see for miles. Don't it seem like a place you could kick back a while? Dude, it don't get no better. So come on down to the Sunshine State. We'll bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, we got these federally subsidized sugar plantations that are bigger and richer than European nations. They own our politicians and hire all the Haitians. It's what you call a sweet deal. Well, everybody said it was some kind of joke when we said it ain't over till your brother counts the votes. And 10 years later, we elected Rick DeSantis. Ooh, it's what you call a state steal. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, now our school system rates higher than Mississippi and Louisiana. And though we ain't up there with Arkansas and Alabama, 17% of our children wind up in the slammer, and that's gotta count for something. You see, we ain't got no state income tax, 'cause we stick it to all the Yankee tourists, and that makes up for that. A service-based economy's what keeps us fat. That and a lot of fried mullet. Come on down to the Sunshine State. We'll bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does.
Well, I can't understand why you didn't win.
I was cheated out of that thing, man. I was totally robbed.
Well, my daughter is moving from Brooklyn to Florida next week, so I'll
There
have
we
to
go.
tip her to that song and make her feel at home.
Yeah.
Well, Grant Peeples, it's wonderful to have you here. And yeah, it was supposed to be tonight in the Lower East Side, but we did it all, remotely. And I'm glad that you mentioned clay tablets, and I'm especially glad that you mentioned Carrie Elkin, because she's a dear friend. So give her and Danny and her daughter Maisie my best when you talk to her.
Oh, well, yeah, they're very good friends of me and my girlfriend Ruthie. In fact, they did a virtual performance for my girlfriend Ruthie's 60th birthday on Friday night. They did that for, they're very good people.
They are good souls all around. Yeah. And I think that you were perfect for this evening, because you sort of have the voice of the prophet in this moment of time.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I really appreciate you doing this, John. And man, what Rob Hinkle, what a find that guy is. How long have y'all been working together?
This is the first one. So I'm going to give a quick plug for Bad Wife and the other albums, which are more politically motivated, but it's all real.
All right. Well,
thanks
you so much.
Thank you, Grant.
I had a great time.
Okay. And I want to second the thing for Rob for what he's done. Rob Hinkle is probably best known for his work with the group Ilyami from Baltimore. He's a guitarist and songwriter. That's a group that has, what do they call that? An acronym. I love you and I miss you. You check it out if you don't already. I kind of think of him as being the bearded sorcerer of the StreamYard control room. And, you make magic, my friend. It's wonderful to have you part of this. And of course, I got to give credit to my social media maven, Gordon Nash, who's taking care of the stream and the comments. And of course, the artists. Thank you so much for being part of this. To Corey Laitman, to Pi Jacobs, and to Great Peeples. And of course, I want to thank you folks who've gone to YouTube Live or to YouTube to check this out. And remember the tip jar. It's there on the screen, and it's your way of showing how much you appreciate what the artists are doing. All the proceeds go evenly to the artist and the producer. So that's where it should go. And I know everybody's got a lot of things to try and keep track of, and there's a lot of Facebook Live things going out there. And I know I try and check in as many as I can, put a little in here and put a little in there. But it would be great if you could top it off here at the On Your Radar. And it's John Platt's On Your Radar 2020, if you want to find it. And make sure you tell your friends about the performances. They will be archived on both YouTube and Facebook Live, and so they can catch them anytime and maybe put a little tip in there. And what else do I want to say? And try and subscribe to the John Platt's On Your Radar YouTube channel, so we'll get some more tonnage with that, so we can get more with what we're doing. This is the first time, but I think, what do you think? You think it was worthwhile? I think we got some good comments. And so we'll have to check out what we can do in July and maybe August, and who knows from there. You can hear me the Sunday Supper at WFUV.org between 5 and 6 p.m. or in the archives at WFUV.org. So check that out whenever you can. This coming weekend, WFUV is having a membership drive, the first one in months. It's our year-end membership drive, and I would urge you to support the station, and particularly if you like the mix of music and what I do On Your Radar, perhaps you'll step into between 5 and 6 at WFUV.org or at the phone number, which I can't remember offhand. And you can also always find me at my website, which is newfolk.org. So, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in touch. Thanks so much.